Hey everybody, welcome back to the show. We got the penultimate episode of Bad Batch Season 3. But you can see, as again, I'm joined by a special guest. People, if you watched our show or listened to our podcast, you have met this guy before, and you've probably seen all of us, I think. You've had all of us on your show, right, Chris?
Yeah, I think you all three of you have made your rounds on the fan battle now. So yeah,
All right. Yeah, so this is Chris from Seriously Star Wars. Chris, I'm going to give you a minute to introduce yourself to any of our listeners or viewers that don't know you yet, and let them know where they can find you too.
yeah, absolutely. Well, thanks for having me on, Jimmy. It's always a pleasure talking with you. My channel is Seriously Star Wars. I do weekly Star Wars videos, mostly reviews, mostly Funko Pops, but I do everything: Black Series figures, Hot Wheels. As long as it's Star Wars, I'll do a review on it. And then, weekends I do the Star Wars Popcast with my two friends and co-hosts, Patrick from Poptography and Lex from Jedi Lex YouTube channel. And then I also do the fan battle every weekend, usually Saturdays at 4 p.m. Eastern. So if you are into Star Wars trivia and you want to come on, or you just want to come and hang out in the chat, definitely check that out. But yeah, that's pretty much my channel in a nutshell. So
All right. Yeah, if you haven't watched one of the battles or not, they're all, you can go back and you can watch them all. They're a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun to be in the audience, and if you have friends around the show, to harass them a little bit while they're playing. But it's pretty fun. Pretty fun idea. I'm glad you do it. I think you got Jack coming on again soon, right? Him and Sam.
yeah, so Jack, he challenged Sam to a duel, so he'll be coming on at some point. So
Oh boy, that'll be a
yeah,
good
so that
one.
should be a good one.
All right. Well, Chris, we've been asking all of our guests, even if we know them or not, or they've been on the show before, a few questions. So we're going to dive into these. And for the first one is, what pulled you into Star Wars? You have an awesome collection. You can see some of it behind you. That's barely anything. I've seen the wide shot of your room. Tell people what it is about Star Wars, what it was about Star Wars that yanked you into it, and now you're hooked forever.
So when I first saw Star Wars, it was I guess it wasn't the first time I saw Star Wars, but '97 was the first time I saw it on theaters. So the special edition. So seeing it on the big screen for the first time, that's what really pulled me in, because I had seen it like on my dad's VHS tapes at home, playing in the background and stuff all the time. But when I saw it on the big screen, it just pulled you in, like that opening scene in Star Wars with the blockade runner and the Star Destroyer, and then Empire Strikes Back with the Imperial walkers on the snow planet, the ice planet. Seeing that for the first time, and the snow speeders like wrapping the tow cable around the legs, and that was amazing, seeing it for the first time on the big screen. So
Yeah,
yeah,
that's
I was
still my
hooked.
favorite. That's still my favorite scene in Star Wars is the Hoth battle. I don't know why.
Yeah.
It's kind of slow paced, but man, it doesn't get any better for me than that. Um, what would you say your favorite movie or show has been? We've got we got a bunch of movies, got some new TV shows. You got some new TV shows coming up. What has been your favorite? What's your go-to on a rainy Sunday afternoon?
Okay, so those are two different things. So my favorite
Okay.
movie is Empire Strikes Back.
All right.
For
Obvious.
partially because the Hoth battle and stuff like
Yeah.
that. The writing was the best. It wasn't perfect, but it was the best out of all the Star Wars movies, right? With Kirshner writing the script and stuff like that, and
Mm-hmm.
and all like it was different than any of the other three movies that we had right back then, where the bad guys kind of won there. Like it wasn't the happy ending like that we got at the end of The New Hope and at the end of Return of the Jedi, right? So it was different. So that's why that's my favorite movie. But I don't know, my go to on a rainy day kind of changes from every now and then. Like
Yeah.
lately, I've been putting on either Revenge of the Sith or The Last Jedi, which are a couple of my higher ranking Star Wars movies.
All right, all right.
But sometimes I'll just flip on like Phantom Menace. So I think lately between those three, those are
All
the
right,
ones
those
I've
are
been putting on lately. So
that's a good place. That's a good place to be living. All three of those
yeah,
movies, can't really go
yeah,
wrong. All
nope.
right. Character wise, it's hard to say what's your favorite character. What's your, who's you love seeing on TV? Do you recognize yourself in any character, or you got like a Mount Rushmore of characters or whatever? You can take the
No,
question however you want.
favorite character is easy for me. It's been Darth Maul since seeing that trailer back in '98. I guess it would have came out the
Yeah.
trailer for it when the doors opened and the lightsaber just both sides.
Yeah.
That was just insane. So and like just he's so mysterious too. Back then, like what 2 lines, 3 lines in the movie, and then that's all we got. So
Yeah, it wasn't a
he was
lot.
very mysterious, yeah. And then with all the backstory we got with the Clone Wars and Rebels and all this other stuff, all this other content, it just added to the character. He's still a mystery, even though we know all this stuff about him. We're like, he's still a mystery. Like, where did he come from? Like, I mean, we know where he came from, but like, I'd like to see early stories of
Yeah,
Darth Maul. Before he became Palpatine's apprentice, right? Like,
that would be cool. I think,
yeah,
yeah, and then you have all the stuff with Crimson Dawn, you
yeah,
know, between that and the Rebels episode, Twin Suns.
yeah. There's a
So
lot
yeah,
of time to cover, so
yeah. Hopefully, they'll give us some more of that and some kind
I
of
hope so.
content, comics or books, movies.
Yeah,
Um, all right,
maybe a
so
Tales of the Sith in the
Tales
future.
of the Sith, yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah,
So when you heard Bad Batch was being a television show, right? They Clone War. They brought us back with Clone Wars season 7. They inserted the Bad Batch into our life for the first time, really.
yeah.
And then they announced like, hey, these guys that you just watched are getting their own TV show, getting their own series. What was your first reaction?
I was like, okay, cool. It's more Star Wars content.
Yeah,
Um, I guess I was cautiously optimistic because another series about clones. I mean, we just got done the Clone Wars. Like, how do you top that, right? And
yeah,
the first season of the Bad Batch, it was really great. Like it had probably the most episodes that were good. Like, I guess if that makes sense, right? Like it was a better of the 3 seasons for sure.
okay,
Season 2 kind of fell off a little bit, right? It had a few episodes that weren't as good, but we're getting back up to good Star Wars animation again with episode or with season 3 here.
yeah,
Again, a few episodes that weren't as good, but I think they've all been better than season 2. I think this season. So
okay, all right, all right. Um, Yeah, so let's go ahead and we'll just dive into what we're here to do. Season 3, Episode
yeah,
14, Flash Strike, written by Nate Villanueva, directed by Brad Rao. I've seen these names attached to a few other things. I know like Brad Rao is also like a supervising director or producer or something like that as well. And I think he's written a couple episodes too. But what was your overall take of Episode 14, Flash Strike? What did you think?
I thought it was good. It's I don't know if it was one of the better episodes, but it's definitely setting the stage for something big happening. Like they're like it was definitely too short. That's one thing.
Mm. It did seem really, really short.
It seemed really quick. The cliffhanger at the end, where Omega says, she's got a plan now or whatever it was that she said there. But like you got Echo, going through the whatever the computer terminal on Tantus and seeing all these clones that have been captured. So I'm hoping for like this big clone uprising with all the clone prisoners escaping and going against the Empire, and hopefully we see Rex and Hauser and them come back, and their little clone troops come back there, like their little crew come back and
Yeah.
help, and Yeah, that'd be pretty amazing. But yeah, I think it did a good job of setting up the final episode.
All
But
right.
yeah, I think overall it was a good episode. It wasn't great, but it was good.
Okay. All right. All right. So I've got a few notes here. We'll just kind of go through the episode bits and pieces here and there. We'll talk about some of the stuff. But have you noticed the music? How the music is just kind of like set the tone for every episode. Like it hasn't been like
Yeah,
a. I mean, I don't know. It hasn't been the same. It hasn't been. It's kind of like Andor was always like that weird music, and then it all kind of came together in the end, and it was like that band playing. But I thought that the music once again was kind of strong, kind of eerie, you
yeah.
know.
It's
Um,
been dark this whole time, dark
yeah.
and like you said, eerie. But like Kiner is on point with the music.
Oh, yeah. 100%.
Yeah,
He and it's like a family affair now. Like it's like his brother is involved and
yeah,
his wife
yeah.
or his daughter or somebody like that as well. Yeah, they
Right.
definitely are underappreciated. Not by us. I mean, obviously Star Wars fans, we love them, but yeah, I
Yeah,
think they're due for a big breakout. I
yeah. I
think
think so too. I wouldn't be surprised if they continue doing like scoring future Star Wars projects after John Williams is done, right? So
yeah. I mean,
I think they got to be the go to
yeah,
to
they
score
blend
this
the
stuff.
old and the new together so
Yeah,
well. They just kind of take different themes and they change them enough that it's that, but it's not. And yeah, I think they do a really good job. The music has been pretty good, pretty solid, I think, um, especially for an animated show. But
yeah,
so we kind of start out. Everyone's in different places. We got kind of three stories going on, like you said. We've got Echo running around. We've got the Bad Batch with Rampart, and then we've got
yeah,
Omega doing her thing. And it's kind of like the Echo show. Like the last two episodes have really showcased Echo. I feel like
yeah,
people kind of forget sometimes. I think he was an ARC trooper, so he was like a special forces clone before he got captured and turned into a robot. Um, if he survives, I'd love to see more of him. Do you think that they're setting us up because we don't know what happens to Echo after this point? Like everything we're
yeah.
getting is new. We've never seen him post, everything like that. So do you think that we're getting? Do you think he survives? How have you felt about getting to see this much Echo? I guess.
I mean, I'm enjoying getting more Echo this season. I I've been thinking like from the beginning, like when we found out this was going to be the last season, I thought it was going to be very much like Rogue One, where all the heroes die. So I think the majority of the bad like the core Bad Batch crew are gonna die, and Omega might be the only survivor. So
Yeah.
unfortunately, because I mean, like you said, like we don't know of like Echo and even any of them in the any future content, right? Like I mean, one because these characters weren't made until after the original trilogy,
Yeah.
so but I mean, I could be wrong. We could Echo could survive, and he could end up in like some animation post Return of the Jedi, right?
Yeah. I
But
wonder that. Um,
yeah,
it seems like we're talking about that a lot on the recap shows. Is like we love these characters. There's no mention of Omega, obviously. Like you said, these are all new characters, but they're weaving them into
yeah,
a story that's already been told. Um, I am curious as to what they're going to do. I mean, the easy thing to do is to wipe them all out, but I don't see Filoni doing that. He seems to have a hard time letting go of some of the characters he's created. But
yeah,
yeah, we'll get to some of that stuff here towards the end. But um, for me too, like Hemlock's been so cocky and like self assured since he's gotten Omega back. It was kind of fun to see him like skittish and nervous and locking the base down, not being so optimistic. This is the first time you and I've gotten to talk about Bad Batch. How have you felt about Hemlock? Do you think he's a worthy bad guy, a villain?
I like Hemlock as a villain. He's really great, and he's got that hand thing too. Like he does
Oh
that,
yeah,
right? Like
yeah,
what is with that?
yeah. It's weird. I'm looking forward to him getting what's coming to him personally. So,
Yeah, I would like to see Hemlock survive.
oh yeah,
Yeah,
all
yeah.
right,
He's a good villain. Like he's like I want to say like director Krennic. Like
Yeah, he
he's
really
like
kind of
that,
is.
right? Yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah. Yeah, that would be good. I'd be kind of curious as what they would do with them. Like we said, like they're building up this resume of characters. What are they
yeah,
going to do with all of them? How do you feel about Omega? Like I know when the season started, the series started, I was kind of like, oh, we got another kid and dad, like we had Grogu and Mando, like it's kind of the same thing. But I have grown to love Omega and
yeah,
I just think she's an awesome character, but I know not everyone feels that way. How do you feel about? Cause I just wrote down Omega is a rock star. She's sitting there, she's listening, she's feeling the table. She goes, laser cannons. My brothers have like, it's like they found me, and they're like, who? And like my brothers, and it's like it's
yeah,
intense. Everything she says, like you just have this feeling that everything's going to work out for her.
yeah. She's really coming into her own this season. Like really growing up. Like because there you could tell there was a little bit of a time jump with how long her hair is now
Mhm.
and how like she's even a little bit taller than before, right? So, but she's really becoming her own person and like not needing that parental figure, that father figure. Like because earlier in the season we saw Crosshair kind of um be like, oh, you shouldn't do this, trying to be a father figure to her when they were escaping, right, and stuff like that.
Yeah,
And she was just like, no, I can handle it. Like you see her being more like independent and a little more defiant and stuff. But like, I love the stuff from today where she was like, yeah, like you said, yeah, the blaster cannons. Like, so what do you think? Because is that her showing signs of like being force sensitive, or
I just think she's
is
been
it just the
trained so well by
vibrations? You
them.
think?
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
she recognizes the sound or the effect of the laser cannons. I think that the Bad Batch have trained her so well, and I do think if she does have the Force, which I think Asajj was kind of lying to that. I mean, we kind of know that she told them like, hey, if she is Force sensitive, I got to take her. And they're like, that's not
yeah,
happening. I do think maybe one of her thing, because like Hunter has that sixth sense kind of thing where he's like he can track and he just kind of gets premonitions. That she kind of has the same thing, but maybe guided by the Force a little bit, which is pretty
yeah,
cool. She seems to always. I don't want to. I mean, she always seems to know or has had. I feel like I know people are gonna be like, "Oh, she's a Mary Sue," blah 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 blah. We'll have this whole Ray thing over again, but I feel like she's had the experience with the Bad Batch. She just like she's not a typical kid. Like she's learned, and she's every experience that she's had with the Bad Batch has made her into who she is. I think
yeah,
she, like her recall is pretty impressive. You know,
yeah. I think so too. You could tell she's picking up things from every other member too.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
you know, using the blasters and stuff. She's kind of getting stuff like that from Crosshair, right? Like how he's good with the blasters and like you said the tracking like Hunter and then like the sneaking around like Echo, right?
yeah,
Like
for sure. Like, yeah, we got lots of that in this episode. Do you first of all, I have one last note here about these scenes, but I said I hope Emery takes out Dr. Butthead. I had to look up her name. It's Dr. Sadler, that other lady doctor. Like
oh
I want
yeah,
Emery to just blast her or feed her to the Zillow Beast or do something to her. Like, oh, she drives me nuts.
yeah,
So, but
yeah. I'm glad that we got that little bit at the end there with her and Echo, and now she's like
yeah,
seems to be like fully on board and
he's
helping them all escape now, right? So
yeah. Echo gives her the what for, man. He puts the guilt trip on her, and yeah, it's pretty good. Uh, I thought the action in this episode was really, really great. The opening
yeah,
scene, the shuttles, and I cannot remember the name of those fighters that were chasing the Bad Batch. But
yeah,
that was a great scene, I thought. Good action. That kind of brings me into the next part, Rampart. When I first mentioned his name, I was like, oh gosh, like we're doing this again. He has
yeah,
been awesome for comic relief.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
all the screaming and freaking out and just like what and screams and how have you felt about Rampart being back? I just wrote Rampart's hilarious, screams constantly, great voice acting by I had to look it up as Noshir Dalla, and this guy has tons of like voice acting credits. He's been in lots of different Star Wars things, including some of the Jedi Survivor stuff. I looked him up and just kind of researching him, but this episode really like made me like, wow, this guy is doing a great job of selling Rampart being Rampart, I guess. So how have you felt about
Yeah,
Rampart being back in his comic relief role, kind of?
I'm enjoying it because it it's not over the top. It's not over the top
Mhm.
comic relief either, right?
No.
It's very subtle stuff. Like, and he's very opposite of what he was. Like he was very sure of himself before, but now he's like unsure of like everything now, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, no, it's great. It's great. It needed a little bit of a comic relief, and it's
Oof.
like the right amount.
Yeah, I would agree because like some of those episodes leading up to them getting him, I mean,
Yeah,
I was like kind of like in a slight depression after each episode because they were so
they were
dark
dark.
and sad and just like, man, there's no hope. And
Yeah,
the writing in this show has been awesome. The direction is great, but yeah, Rampart has kind of, which is funny because you know how much we hated him during the. I still don't necessarily like him. I just think he's kind of funny.
yeah,
Um, but then he has a like a little conversation with Crosshair, and it's kind of cool to see these two in this different role now. And you know, Crosshair's like the Empire betrayed us both, and then Rampart retaliates with the, you know, you think you can fight them, and they have this kind of talk, and he goes, "You're loyal to no one, just like me." Crosshair says, "I've changed," and then of course he
yeah,
walks away, and Rampart's like, "Are you sure?" You know, what do you think that they're setting something up, or do you just think that they're trying to show like Crosshair has changed and Rampart hasn't?
yeah. I mean, I don't know. I think they might be setting something up. They got to be because he got captured by the those troopers there, right? So I wonder if he
Mm-hmm.
goes back to the old ways,
You think
right?
he'll sell out the Bad Batch? I mean, I feel like
I
he
think
would, but
so. I think so.
yeah,
Right? Get given a second chance and work for the
hmm
Empire again. I think he'd take that.
yeah, for sure. What
Yeah,
I wrote down here, shots of Tance is really beautiful. I thought the animation in this episode was really good.
yeah,
They had some like distance shots and like widescreen shots of Tantus and some of the jungle stuff. Been really impressed with the animation this season. But
yeah. The animation all season's been pretty on point, right? Like
yeah,
they've definitely improved since the last season.
yeah, and they seem to keep doing that. I'm excited for whatever's next. You know,
Yeah,
if I mean, I'm sure there's something coming, but um, and then we kind of come into this third act of the show, and I think it was funny because this is like Omega slips away. She's doing stuff. The kids are trying to stall, and they're terrible at it. I'm hungry. My tummy
yeah.
hurt. Hey, can I go
I'm not
next? You
feeling
know,
well.
and it's just
Yeah,
like the difference between those kids and Omega. And I thought that was an awesome scene. And the fact that I know some people are probably like, "Well, that was dumb," but I think it was an awesome scene just to show up like the training Omega's had, the person Omega is versus these poor kids who might all have been Jedi Knights had they not been, you know, born in the wrong time period. Um,
yeah,
you know, just kind of what the training and stuff like that can do them. What did you think about that? Did you see that too, or am I just like reading into it?
yeah. No, I thought so as well. Like, it was great because like Omega really proved how well this training's paying off by
Mm.
also getting back in time too.
Oh
Like
yeah, I know. I was a little concerned. I was like, oh.
I was like, oh man, like she there's no way because she climbed. It showed her climbing up, like cutting to her climbing up, and then cut back to what was it like Echo sneaking around. Then cut back
Hmm.
to her climbing again, and then like all of a sudden she just like snuck back down. So that training's paying off. She's
Yeah,
quick.
for sure. While she's sneaking around, she finds it. What were your
Yeah,
thoughts when you saw the Zillow Beast? Which is a good payoff because that happened in season one, didn't it?
yeah. It was season one. I think it wasn't. It was season
Yeah.
one.
So
Yeah,
come back a full circle. They got to Zillow Beast. Something. I think I know what's going to happen now. But um, what were your thoughts when you saw the Zillow Beast for the first time?
I was like, oh, crazy. That's crazy. Like you said, full circle. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. I have a feeling
yeah.
that she's going to let that thing loose and all hell's going
Oh
to break
yeah,
loose.
yeah, yeah. I think so.
So
I think that's part of her plan.
yeah, it's got to be. Um, and then of course we have that scene that you alluded to, the Echo and Emery scene. First, I want to know how she knows him. I mean, maybe the hand, I guess, probably the hand, because she kind of looks at it when he
Yeah,
puts the hand back on. But then they have that conversation, and Echo just kind of slams her for not being what
yeah.
Omega
Where
said
he's like,
she is.
you're a clone too, and what you should be fighting with us.
And she's like, I was just doing my job. And I think, is that alluding to like good soldiers follow orders, the
Yeah,
mindlessness of the clones? I thought that was kind of a fun way to come back around to it. But obviously, um, she's on board, right? I don't know
yeah,
about you, but this whole season, I was kind of like, is she, isn't she? Will the Omega affect her? And it seems like she's on board to save all the kids and Omega.
yeah. It seems like it
So,
now.
yeah. And then that happens. Omega comes back to the table. I have a plan. And then the episode is over. And it's like, wait,
Yeah,
what?
and too
I mean,
quick. Yeah, it was too quick.
yeah, I don't know the runtime. I didn't even look at it. And now I felt like it was like one action scene, next action scene. Like there was never like slow talking except for that a little bit here and there, like Crosshair and Rampart, and then Echo and Emery. But man,
Yeah,
that episode, like I was like, whoa, like
yeah,
how's it over already? Because like,
yeah. It went
do you
quick.
feel like they can wrap it up in one more episode? Like this is the end of a 3-season show, 45
Yeah,
episodes, 47 episodes, whatever it's going to end up being. Do you feel like they can wrap it up? Is it going to be wrapped up? I mean,
I mean, I hope so. I hope it wraps up the Bad Batch story. Like I hope, like I said, like I hope it we get like a satisfying ending for the Bad Batch. Um, I think it would be quite satisfying if they weren't to make it, because it doesn't make sense for me to for them to make it. But if the series also leads into another series, because we saw Asajj earlier in the
mhm.
season, do we get Asajj coming back to help them? And maybe it leads into something with her and Quinlan Voss and helping these
That'd be
kids
awesome.
escape, and leading into the path.
That's
Do we?
yeah. I think you kind of are in the same way. You're in the same boat I am. I feel like
Yeah,
Kenobi, Asajj, all this is going to kind of come together, and I even think that they may be pulling some of the Jedi Survivor stuff into it.
yeah,
Um, but I mean, Omega has to be some. If they don't write her off, if they don't end her next week, which I can't see Disney taking out a 12, 13-year-old little girl.
no,
Like it just doesn't seem like the Mouse House is down for that kind of stuff. But she's also not the same. And I talked about this last week with Tiara. Is she is not the kind of character person to sit on the sideline while the rebellion is going up against the Empire or the Alliance or whatever. So where is she? Like, do you think that they're going to smuggle her out and they're going to get her somewhere where she can't help? Or
I think I think we'll get some other stories with her. Maybe fill in some gaps, because again, like, we don't see her because this character wasn't created back when Rebels
Mhm.
came out, back when the original trilogy came out, right? So I think we'll get some sort of stories with Omega in different timelines, just to show like where she is, what she's been doing, right? Because the same's with like Grogu. When we first saw Grogu,
Mhm.
and we found out how old this character was, and he was alive during the time of the prequels. Like, everyone was like, oh, okay, well, we didn't find out about him until now. Like, what happened? Like, where are these stories? And we're slowly getting that stuff, right? So I think they'll do the same with Omega's character,
Okay.
and then maybe when we get a book of Boba Fett, maybe she shows up in that, right?
All right, yeah, because I mean that's something that no one's even really talked about, and I listen to other podcasts and things just to kind of see where my theories are versus other people, and no one's really mentioned since the beginning. She is Boba Fett's little
Yeah,
sister. I mean,
yeah,
same age, maybe they're twins. Who knows, right? I mean, because he's pretty young during the prequels. I mean, but yeah, I think I mean if he finds out he has a sister, I feel like he's gonna want to go find her. I would
yeah,
think. I mean, at least the
yeah,
Boba Fett from the book of Boba Fett. I don't know about the Boba Fett prior to that because he seems to have change. Being slowly digested by the Sarlacc probably changes a man, but
Yeah.
I'll let you know makes you think about what's important. But yeah, I'm curious. I've seen some rumors that they think there's a secret episode 16, or that this is going to be like a much longer runtime. But someone said that I think I saw somewhere they said it's only 23 minutes next week. So I'm concerned, like, because
Yeah, I don't know if can they get everything done, like, because they got to do a lot, like they got to get Omega out of there.
There's another show right around the corner.
Yeah.
I don't know, so kind of crazy. So overall, thumbs up, thumbs down for episode 14.
Yeah, it was thumbs up. Like I said, like it wasn't like one of the better episodes. There have been episodes that are better, but it's still a great episode.
Yeah.
I gotta say, like, my favorite part was Echo, though, this episode. Oof, like, him putting on the Stormtrooper armor and then, like, stealing the hand from the droid. Like, that was awesome.
Yeah, he's definitely, they showcased his abilities those last 2 weeks, and just him running around and doing stuff. It makes me nervous because the last time they said a clone separate and they started making you feel for him, they took him away from us.
That's true. That's true.
At the end of last season, but who knows? I still don't think any of the Bad Batchers make it out of this episode next
I don't
week.
think so. Like you said, like, I don't think they're going to kill off Omega, like a little 12-year-old girl, right? So, but the Bad Batch, like Echo, Hunter, Wrecker, Crosshair, I don't think they're going to make it out of the episode. So yeah, like we've already got little like foreshadowings of it earlier in the season, where like that other clone, the assassin clone or whatever, the CX clone or whatever, the CX trooper, like we didn't get him yet either, so he's got to be coming back in the next episode too, right? So, but yeah, you know, I thought Crosshair was a goner when they were fighting in the water and he almost drowned. I thought, what was it, Wrecker, when he almost didn't make the jump from the Juggernaut onto the ship there. Like, I was like, oh, we're gonna lose Wrecker now, right? Like it's foreshadowing it, and
you're spot on too, because I thought that's kind of how the season was going to go. Was like little bits of people were going to get taken, because it's weird. Like, I know we talked about this with somebody, but you know, even not just having tech, it didn't seem complete. I know they brought Echo in to kind of complete the group, but it was weird not having tech, and I was like, I wondered if they were going to do that because it would affect the story a lot, like losing one of those characters. But yeah, I'm in the same boat as you. I brought up that jump for Wrecker. I was like, oh my god, this is how he's going out. Like, he's gonna miss.
Yeah,
you know, like,
right?
Oh, no way. Like, he needs to be fighting the Zillow Beast, like, you know, or something. Something go out like that. But yeah, I can't wait. I'll be curious as to how this all goes, and I'm sure we'll all be talking about it next week, and we'll get more cryptic text and stuff that from Jennifer Corbett, the one director or producer that she's sending out. But Chris, I want to say thank you. Oh, first off, do you have any final thoughts? Like, I mean, I guess, you know, on the episode.
Yeah, I mean, overall, just a great episode. This entire season's been emotional. Yeah, dark. Yeah, the animation was great. So, yeah, no, it's just been a great episode, or a great season. This entire season, a lot better than season 2. Like, we got a lot of.
You really don't like season 2, do you?
No, it wasn't great. Like, it was okay. It was good, right? But like, a lot of the Sid stuff, like them going doing those pointless missions and stuff. Like, we didn't get as much of that this season, which was good. So, no, I'm happier with this season for sure.
Good. Awesome. Yeah. All right. Well, tell the people where they can find you one more time.
Yeah. So on YouTube, Seriously Star Wars. Social media, Instagram, Twitter, X, TikTok, even, I think it's all under the same thing. Seriously SW. So if you want to follow me over there, and subscribe to the channel for weekly Star Wars content.
Yeah, lots of good stuff coming off there, and your popcast with Patrick and Lex, and then of course the trivia stuff's always fun.
Yep.
learn a lot of new stuff from watching those episodes. I don't always catch them live, but I always go back and rewatch them. They're always a lot of fun. And you have all kinds of new content creators on there, get to meet new people. So, Chris, thank you very much for coming on, and I'm sure we'll reach out to you about, when the season's over and see what you think.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me on, Jimmy.
Absolutely.